Welcome to Heavy Talk. I'm your girl Heavie. I am back with another episode of Heavy Talk, here to serve you up some more straight talk with no chaser. Thank you so much for tuning in. To everyone that's listening on different platforms, whether it's Apple, whether it's Spotify, Google, or to my new watchers, supporters who are now watching full episodes and the bonus clips on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been peeping all the support, all the views and the listens, and it does not go unnoticed. I am genuinely thankful. We have quite a bit to get into this episode. There's been a lot that's been going on. I want to talk about Juneteenth, the celebration that went on. Surprising to me, there were some people that were not in favor of the Juneteenth celebration. So let's talk about that. Also, want to do a recap of my Juneteenth Business Expo and reveal the first quarter 2023 Black Business Scholar. You ready for that? And let's talk about what's going on with these DEI offices across different states. Different states, similar to Florida, are now signing bills that are essentially banning DEI offices, especially for colleges and institutions. So we're going to get into that. And we're going to have to talk about everything that's going on with the people that lost their lives trying to go see the Titanic on, I believe it's called the Titan. It's not a submarine. That was a problem. The submersible, I think that's what people are calling it. So we're going to talk about that. And to wrap up the episode, I want to get into all the things that had me like WTF, because the streets have definitely been a raging. But first, let me give you your word of the day, serving you up some inspiration. First thing, our word of the day of the episode is habits. Habits. It's so easy to pick up habits. Habits can either be beneficial or detrimental. It's important to create and maintain healthy habits. If you discover some quote bad habits, try to actively work on changing things up. Now, this was so important to me to deliver this word on this episode because this is something I've been actively working on. I started to pick up that I had a couple bad habits, and I was like, okay, you gotta do some work. Like leaving my phone in the car is something that drives my mom up the wazoo. Like she'd be like, why do you always leave your phone in the car? If something happens to you, how are you gonna be able to call for help or something because you leave your phone in the car? So I've been working on that. Also, I don't charge my phone at nighttime. Like if something happens, I need to run out. Like in the morning, I didn't have time to charge my phone. I don't have time. Then what am I gonna do? Like it's not safe to just have a phone that's not charged up, to leave your phone in the car. Also, I noticed that with my anxiety, I had started like biting my nails again. I know, gross. I'm like, okay, you need to work on changing these habits. Every time I see myself doing the habit, I try to actively stop myself and course correct and stop myself from doing it or do the complete opposite. So on the flip side, I've been trying to pick up some good habits, like making up my bed every morning. That's something I want to say I'm sure, but I'm not sure because everybody was raised different. That most people were raised that you have to make up your bed in the morning. Like just make up your bed as soon as you get out the bed, make it up. That's something I had did while I was in school, and then it kind of slipped off once I got into college. So once I've been back home from college, I've been trying to actually work on okay, make up your bed. Not only does it just make your room look clean, it just feels good when you come in from a long day, you just pull back your sheets and get into bed. It's just a very good feeling. So that's my word of the day. Actively work on changing up your habits. If you see some things like, okay, maybe this is not beneficial for me, for my growth, for my long-term journey, maybe I should change this up. And then if you like, okay, maybe I should start doing this because this could be beneficial and helpful for me, then start picking it up. So work on course correcting those bad habits and work on incorporating those good habits. That's my word of the day. I hope that it was helpful. Let's get into this episode. I want to start with a recap of the Juneteenth Business Expo. So for weeks, I've been talking about my brands, The Black Blog. You go right here, and HeavieTalk Media, we host an annual Juneteenth Business Expo. So essentially, the whole point, you've probably heard this like 10 times. If we want to highlight Black businesses, and we want to also celebrate Juneteenth. So all of my vendors, which were Black business owners, offer one product, I don't know why I put up three, one product for AC65 in honor of Juneteenth. So that went on from June 17th through June 19th. We had interviews that were coming out with some of our vendors. We talked to state we talked to Pre-College Solutions. Those interviews are also available on HeavieTalk Media's YouTube channel and on the Black Blogs podcast, which is on Spotify. We also announced another Black business scholar, so I'm really happy about that. So congratulations to Braids by Didi. Braids by Didi received the first quarter of 2023 Black Business Scholarship. I'm so proud. I'm so thankful. This scholarship has come such a long way, starting at our first scholar, which is my Aggie Pride. Then we had Galaxy, Gigabee Graphics, which is Howard, a Howard alum that we have Braids by Didi, and she focuses on just making people look beautiful with hairstyles. So she does that where she offers natural hairstyles. You can come get your hair done naturally, whether it's press and curl or a nice shampoo. Who doesn't love a good shampoo? She also sells hair care products, like edge control or shampoo, different things like that. So go check out Braids by Didi, and big congratulations. If you'd like to learn more about the scholarship, visit theblack.blog. Another scholarship cycle will open on July 1st. So if you know a Black business owner that's working hard in their community, that's doing big things, please nominate them for the Black Business Scholarship presented by the Black Blog and HeavieTalk Media. There's no gimmicks, there's no scams, like it's no hidden agendas. All you have to do is click on the nomination form. The business owner, it goes without saying, it should be, they have to be Black. They have to be Black, put in their information on the form. We ask for basic stuff, the name, your name, the nominator's name, if you would like. We also ask for your email address, the business owner's email address, the business owner's phone number, the location of the business, the impact that they've had on you. And we want to know how you find out about the scholarship. So it's that simple. Once the nomination is sent, it's not a guarantee. We do have to do our research and just make sure that the business owner is Black, that they're operating in the US, and that everything, P's and Q's and everything is met. Once that is being said, if they are selected as a nominee, then you receive your nominee notice, and you get your a nominee kit, and you can start trying to get more nominations. The whole point is to just have your supporters and your supporters and your audience submit more nominations. So the business owner that has the most nominations essentially will win the scholarship if everything else checks out. So the scholarship process is that simple. I know previous scholars were like, wait, I thought there was something else that I had to do. Like, I didn't know it was this simple. Like, it's very, very simple. Like, I tried to make the process to put as few barriers in place, because it's just all about helping Black business owners, helping Black people, because I know that it's sometimes hard to be able to get those big old loans or grants or stuff like that. So these are for business owners or people who maybe don't fit the mold to be able to get a different scholarship or a different grant. So this is for those people. So this is why I created it, because I just want to help out. So it's that simple. Go check it out. Nominate your favorite Black business. It is free 99 to support business owners. It don't cost you a thing. Go support. Now let's get into Juneteenth. There's so many different layers that I want to talk about. I took quite a bit of notes when I was like, okay, I want to talk about Juneteenth. And I was like, Heaven, what exactly do you want to talk about in regards to Juneteenth? So I started taking down notes as I was just seeing stuff that was going on. Like, okay, so I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this angle of it. So a couple things. The first starting with the discourse around Juneteenth. There was overall, people just had something to say, and I was honestly shocked. Now, one aspect of it was a commercialization aspect of it. Now, that I completely understand. We've seen this last year, and we've seen this year. The brands went heavy with their Juneteenth, what I want to call it, their Juneteenth branding. It was just like when George Floyd was murdered. A lot of these brands just hopped on the wave. The social activism wave started making these different programs and these different initiatives. I want to say most of those initiatives and programs, you never heard of them again. There's whoosh gone. So it's not surprising that again these brands would jump on something else that they think just looks good, but they're not. Their soul and their heart is not actually in it. So I do get the like that are like these brands are jumping on it, but they're not true. It's not honest. They don't really care. I do get that aspect of it, but then again, I'm like, what does it have to do with you? The brands can fake celebrate and fake care. How does that impact your celebration? Like you can still feel like that they're just faking it while you're still having your celebration. However, that is, you can celebrate it however you want to, but not celebrating because you feel like these brands are making it more commercialized. I don't. That's the part that I wasn't getting. I also see there was some discourse around the different colors, basically the visual symbols that were being used to celebrate Juneteenth. So that was in terms of colors and in terms of flags. So some people were using the Pan-African flag. The Pan-African flag or the Pan-African colors, which you can see is the Black Blog's brand colors, while other people were using the actual Juneteenth flag, which the colors were blue and red and white. So there was a little bit of discourse around that. Now, I do think I understand, I don't want to sound uneducated, but I do think I understand that part is with Pan-African. The point that some people are making is that Pan-African encompasses all people of all African descent. Juneteenth is specifically referring to African Americans. So that's what some people's point were. This is not about anyone of African descent. This is an African American celebration, specifically an African American Texan celebration. So Pan-African colors or flags shouldn't be used when talking about Juneteenth. If anyone was going to say anything to the Black Dot blog, these are our brand colors. Every color, the red, the black, and the green, and the yellow all have a different meaning. So once I learned the meaning, I made those my brand colors. So anything that the Black blog does, we do everything in our brand colors. So it wasn't that's just how we do things. So if there was to be an issue with someone, that was going to be my response. We do everything in our brand colors. Literally everything you see, it will always be in red, black, and green. That's just that. But there are some people like the NAACP posted about Juneteenth. They use those colors. People was in the comments was like, really? I seen a post from someone on Twitter that that particular person's city or town was doing a Juneteenth celebration and they use different colors. And the person like contacted the town and said use the right colors and they redid the flyer. So there was quite a bit of discourse about what colors to use to celebrate Juneteenth. Now, I think I get it. This one that I was completely thrown off is I literally seen this thread from this man that was from Texas, and he was saying that he literally said that it was weird to see Black people outside of Texas celebrating Juneteenth because it is a Black Texan holiday. Then people jumped in his comments and was like, wait a minute. And he also went on to say that for all of his life, he's only ever seen Juneteenth being celebrated in Texas. So people jumped in his comments and was like, just because you've only seen it this way doesn't mean that that's how it's always happened. You had people that was older than him, old heads, that was like, no, I was around back in the 1960s and I live in Philly and we celebrated it. I live in Chicago, we celebrated it. So it's not, it hasn't just been a Texan thing. The holiday originated in Texas, but not only people in Texas have celebrated Juneteenth. And again, so you're gatekeeping the Juneteenth holiday. So you can only celebrate it if you're from Texas or have Texas roots. We not going to celebrate Juneteenth for all of these different reasons. You can feel what you want to feel about how other people are celebrating and you can still celebrate it. So that's the part that was getting me. And last but not least, with the Juneteenth, it was a C-SPAN caller that called into a show and was talking about Juneteenth. And this is what the person was quoted saying. I haven't heard any Black person say thank you to the over 300,000 white men who died to free those Black slaves. What in the T and the F? We got to say thank you. We have to say thank you for being free. Why was we enslaved in the first place? We got to say thank you. I find that to be absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Leading to something that's even more ridiculous. This announcement was made shortly before Juneteenth. So I think this was very, very intentional. In Texas, the Texas governor signed a similar bill as to what was signed in Florida in regards to diversity, inclusion, all of that. Another bill was signed. And with this bill, the announcement, again, I'm going back to saying this announcement was made like literally days before Juneteenth. I think that was very, very intentional in a state like Texas. The bill essentially says that all state-funded colleges and universities in Texas will have to close their diversity, equity, and inclusion offices under a measure signed by the Texas governor. This goes back to, I talked about it on previous episodes, what the Florida governor said, and I said then that I felt like this is going to set a precedent in other states where they felt like, let's see how this goes in Florida. If it goes okay, other states are going to fall in line and do the same thing. And here you go, less than 6 months later, the Florida governor did it. The Florida governor that's in the running to be president, one of the top front runners for the Republicans, he signed that bill, and now you have the Texas governor following his lead and signing another bill. So this is the most diverse, this is the most direct attack that's being had on diversity, equity, and inclusion offices. And I said this was going to happen, so it's not too surprising, but still, we have to be careful because this is what's going on in different states. It might not be all in the media, but at small levels, they're doing it at small levels. So again, at another school, at another state, the University of Arkansas-Fayetteville has closed a DEI office. Now, the thing that had me thrown off about this, and reading about this story, the choice was made by the chancellor, Charles Robinson, of the school. Now, this chancellor is the school's first Black chancellor. So it was a Black man that made the choice to close the DEI offices. And what he said, it is my belief based on my experience that we can accomplish better outcomes by reallocating resources into these essential areas. So he said that the DEI offices will be closed, and that these employees will be, and these resources will be reassigned to different offices on campus. This is what he said. People felt like this choice was being made, going back to what I just said about Texas, the bill that was signed, and going back to Florida. So people felt like this choice was made just because of the pressure. Arkansas is a red state, so they felt like he was just getting ready for what's already to come. But he said that's not why he did it. He did it because he felt like these resources could be better used somewhere else. I'm not really buying that, but that's what he said. Now, these decisions come as a big ruling is supposed to be made with the Supreme Court. Now, this ruling could potentially ban colleges and universities from considering race as a factor in their admissions decisions, because we know that at places like Harvard and these other Ivy League schools, not even Ivy Leagues, that there sometimes are not a high percentage of minorities, like African Americans, Latinos. So keep your eyes on that. Last but not least, I want to talk about Canva. Now, I love me some Canva, but I'm going to maybe have to find something else because I'm not a fan of this. So there was someone that made a LinkedIn post about using Canva, and Canva has come out with this different technology. I'm not too tech-based. I don't know too much about what's going on with the technology aspect of it. So a Black lady, she was trying to create a Canva design, and she said what she wanted to pop up, and she was shocked at what she seen. That she typed in Black woman with Bantu knots. That's what she put into Canva. Now, when she put into that, an error message popped up and said that unsafe content will be seen, that unsafe and offensive content will be seen in this search. So nothing will pop up. WTF is going on? Are you trying to say that Bantu knots is offensive, unsafe? That's how it would seem. That's how the lady took it. That's how other people took it. And Canva put out this generic response, like, we have to do stuff like that because otherwise some people could submit racist stuff or offensive stuff. So we have to have this in place as a protective measure. I'm not really buying that. There's no way, if if I could type in, I don't know, white lady hair or or a white woman's hair and it pops up just fine, I should be able to type in black woman's hair and it pop up just fine. If you feel like it's gonna be unsafe to type in black woman with bantu knots, then feel like it's gonna be safe to type in white lady hair. Like fair should be fair, equal should be equal. So Canva, you need to get that in check or when we have to use in something else because I'm not feeling that. Now let's get into music. I want to lighten it up a bit. Let's talk about I want to talk about one aspect of music, and that is Sir Gunna. Like I don't even usually get into everything that's going on with the streets and the rappers and the beefing. I think it's all to be ridiculous. There's way more important things that we should be talking about. I'm always baffled when I see platforms like Ball Alert and the Shade Room, like even covering this. Like there's something that's been going on with Cardi B and Tasha K, and literally Baller Alert got posted as like Tasha K versus Cardi B. Like just what is going on in the world where this is what we are doing. I just find it to be very embarrassing. So I don't even usually get into it, but I do want to say Gunna's album was fire. I've listened to it in the car. I do car listens. If it hit in the car, it's usually some fire. So I listened to it in the car. It was actually very, very, very decent. But the part of this that I really want to talk about, and I forgot to talk about this on a couple episodes ago, is I seen the video of wait, let me go back. There's some people that don't know maybe who Gunna is. So Gunner, I call him Gunner. Gunna is a popular rapper. I believe he's from Atlanta. He was linked to Young Thug. Other rappers, he was linked to Young Thug and Lil Baby. I believe what they call YSL. So he was linked with them. Maybe I think it's been time be flying. I think maybe last year, Young Thug, Gunna, and a couple of other say members, affiliates of YSL got hit with a RICO case. So from that, people I heard started copping pleas. They started signing plea deals. Gunna was behind bars for quite a long period of time, and then suddenly he got released, and then news came out that he signed some type of plea agreement. So then you can already see where this gonna go. Then they started calling him a snitch. Then he was labeled a snitch, and then you had other people in the industry started distancing themselves from him like massively. A whole bunch of rappers unfollow him on Instagram. Then they started taking shots at Gunna in their different albums and in their different songs. So it's just been a whole bunch of hoo-ha riffraff about this. So Gunna put out a song, I think it's called Bread and Butter, where he talked about a little bit of what the people got to say about him and how overall he not hearing it, he don't care because he is Sir Gunna and ain't nobody touching him. So that's what in my paraphrase is what he said in the song. So he did that. And I think the song was decent. I don't know nothing about anything he talking about. I don't know none of these people, none of the gang stuff. I'm not with that. My name is Ben and I'm not in it. So I don't know anything about that. But I will say that song was fire and that album was fire. So that's who Gunna is. The part that got me where I was like, we are doomed. So going back to Tasha K and Cardi B and the platforms covering this, I said we're doomed. So it was a video of a club. I don't know what city it was in, but it was a club. A whole bunch of people in there. They was turned. People was in there turned, dancing, everything. A Gunna song came on. It went silent. Everybody stopped moving, stopped singing, stopped dancing. Just got dead quiet. Then add that on top of people like regular Joe Schmo, like me, like people like you and I, all in Gunna comments like you a rat, like blah blah, you a snitch, like this is what we doing, like this is like this is beyond me. This is literally beyond me. Then to what they say to this just took the cake. This just took the cake. Then I seen a tweet that's this kind of funny, kind of not, but we are doomed. The tweet said, I'm not cursing, so I'm gonna be saying like the letters. Dirk thought all of that. Dirk thought all my life. Let me go back. Dirk thought that All My Life BS was gonna capture our hearts. F out of here with them NAACP raps. Now, that is a little bit funny, but seriously, Dirk put out an album trying to be positive. I talked about this on past episodes, how I didn't like how the media was leaning into the Dirk and, look, the Dirk and Young Boy beef, but they wasn't covering all the positive stuff that Dirk was doing, like meeting with the mayor of Chicago, like donating scholarships to HBCU students. That they talked about that rarely. They maybe did one post about it, but they do a massive post about Dirk versus Young Boy, Dirk versus Gunna. Like, it's honestly sad. So this was just sad to me. Like what are we even doing? Why? It's sad that this is what, unfortunately, my age group, like, this is what we are interested in. We don't care about the positives that these rappers are doing or how they're trying to improve themselves positively. People is making jokes because Dirk is trying to better himself and he don't want to talk about the same thing he want to do differently. And y'all saying F out of here, but y'all want to be with the foolishness. Like, it's like, this goes back to my job point. Like, everything be contradictory. Ja was wrong. He should never been with the gun. Like, that was ridiculous. Why you even doing that? But still, how was the culture, like, what was they trying to, what image was they trying to go for when they was having rappers shooting dice on the court, rappers having money on the court, having rappers that were beefing courtside at the game, like seats apart. Like, it's like we be confused. Like, y'all be confused. Is y'all with it or is y'all not with it? Is we putting the guns down? Is we toting the guns? Like, what are we doing? I would like us to have a meeting and get it together. Now let's get into a WTF moment. The Titan submarine that was going to see the Titanic wreck. It is so many different aspects of this. We can start with one of the missing, one of the people that were on board, his stepson. I want to make sure that this was for sure the right individual, because if this wasn't, he was for sure wilding, and he may be a bit racially insensitive. So go research one of the Titan passenger's son. I believe Cardi B too said something about the young man, because it's just his priorities, like his mental. I don't like, what are you focusing on during a situation like this? Like, this is what you're doing during times like this. It honestly was sad. It seemed a little bit clout chasing. Something else that is so bizarre. One of the passengers of the wreckage, his wife, people and ancestors were on board the Titanic. What are the odds of that you marry someone whose ancestors were abroad, were on the Titanic, and then your spouse goes and then dies trying to go see the Titanic wreckage? Like, that is so interesting, for lack of a better word. Nothing that was ironic, interesting about this. A former employee complained. It said that the employee literally said that this sub was not capable of descending to such depths, and then he was fired. The employee lost his job. So you complain, this is not safe, I don't know about this, and then surely after lost his job. And I think the CEO of Ocean Gate, there's video of him saying that he cut corners while he designed this, that he didn't do it the absolutely correct way, that he used different parts. There's video of it. He said this in the video. I don't know why proper procedures and protocols were not in place and why anyone would sign up for that, because it wasn't chump change. Like, them people paid good money, big money, to be able to go on there, and they lost their life. And one of the passengers went with his dad, and his aunt is saying that he didn't even want to go. He went just to please his father. WTF is going on. Rest in peace to all lives that are lost. That is honestly so sad. I was really hoping that the people were going to be found safely, not just because it is sad whenever lives is lost, but I was honestly interested in terms of what they found. Like, I found that to be interesting. I told my mom, I'm not gonna lie to you, this looks unsafe. They weren't prepared, but I will potentially go and do something like that. That sounds fascinating. I will go to the moon. So I would definitely go underwater and go look at the Titanic. Like, that sounds fascinating to me. I don't know. Guess it's just me. Now let's get into all the things that had me like WTMF, because the streets have definitely been a raging. Let's start with something that I talked about, I believe, a couple years ago on the HeavieTalk podcast WTF segment. So I talked about in Greece, there were, I believe the story, I want to make sure I'm getting it right. From what I can understand is people in Greece allegedly were put on a boat, and then they were like sail out into the middle of the ocean. They were just left there, and then the Greek officials left the um migrants or the citizens. I think they were asylum seekers. They like put them all in a boat, told them that they were going somewhere else, and they lied. And then they ended up taking them in the middle of the ocean, and they dumped them in the ocean and left. That was the most bizarre thing that I've ever heard about in my life. And I covered that on a WTF segment. So I see this and I said, is this the same story? Nope, this is something else that happened. This is what the headline of the article says. The Greek Coast Guard claimed it didn't intervene when a boat carrying asylum seekers and refugees capsized last week because those on board refused help, leaving as many as 750 people to drown. Activists say Greece delayed aid as those on board pleaded for help for 15 plus hours. Now, I'm not calling the Greek Coast Guard a liar, but as soon as I heard their defense and them saying they didn't help because the people on board said, no, don't help me, I said, this does not make logical sense to me. Who in their right mind, when they're drowning, it's going to be like, no, don't help me. I don't want you to touch me. Let me drown. Like, maybe extreme circumstances, maybe so you really don't like the person, you feel like you're gonna be more harm with them saving you than just drowning. I don't know. Maybe something could happen where you like, don't save me. But in this instance, it's just no way where the Greek Coast Guard want us to believe that 750 plus people that ultimately drowned prior to said, no, don't save me. That don't even sound logical or like realistic to me. And it's a shame that they couldn't figure out a better PR story. Like, this is what y'all came up with, that the people said no, and y'all said, okay, just drown. Okay, that's fine. Like, no, but WTF, that's not okay. Something else that's not okay. Antonio Brown, sir, what is going on? Antonio Brown took ownership, make sure I get this right, of a National Arena League team called the Albany Empire. He took control of this league. Now, I will say, I don't like the fact that we didn't even really learn or know too much that he even had ownership of this team. Like, why was not this talked about as much of all of his, ridiculous moments are talked about? Like, goes back to my point with the stuff that the media focuses on, especially when it relates to Black people. I want to hear about his ownership story as much as I hear about his foolishness and all that other stuff. Like, let's keep it equal. If not, let's elevate the one more than the other. So it was news to me that he even owned a National Arena League team. This, I had no idea. So I said, okay, he had a team. Well, I'm not learning about this because something went positively. I said, I'm learning about this because something went wrong, and I was right. He done lost his team. His team has been kicked out the league after failed payments. Now, I know eggs going up, and I know I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get a second job, but you mean to tell me that Antonio Brown, he don't have enough bank either, and he missing payments? He just missed one. He missed several failed payments. That's why his team was ultimately kicked out. Now, how embarrassing is that? where your team is not just you. You have people that are assigned to your team. They lost essentially their stream way of income because you forgot or didn't pay the bill. Like, I don't understand. The league said, this is what the article said, according to a press release sent out by the National Arena League, the Albany Empire has been kicked out of the league for not making mandatory payments to satisfy the contractual obligations of all team owners. This is what the statement said. This article is from Black Enterprise, by the way. After exhausting all avenues, the NLA Board of Owners have decided to unanimously terminate the membership agreement of the Albany Empire. The decision was made after an emergency conference call of the members in good standing to discuss the Empire's failure to make their league mandate and overdue assessments. So you just didn't pay your bill. You just decided, I'm just not paying. Antonio Brown, why? See, this happens sometimes. Don't even do something if you're not ready. To whom much is given, much is required. New levels, new devils. When you sign up something with responsibility comes a lot of obligations. Don't sign up. Don't take ownership of a team if you're not going to maintain and do what you have to do to keep the team, because now you're impacting other people's lives. Like, that's not okay. It's honestly all this other foolishness. Like, okay, CTE, cutting a little bit of slack, but like, this just seems like irresponsibility. Like, come on now, seriously. Something else that happened, like WTF, and these billionaires, I just be like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have agreed to fight in a cage match. Y'all, really? Elon was just saying that he don't have a lot of time from running Twitter and from running Tesla, and I think he has SpaceX. He was just saying that he does not have a lot of time to be able to do all of this, that, you know, he's been struggling. You mean to tell me that you could find time to go do a cage match? To make matters worse, Zuckerberg posted a screenshot of Musk's tweet and said, send me the location. Really, this is what teenagers do, like, send me your love, like, you know, link up, let's, you know, shoot the one, like, you know, send me your love. Like, are you serious? Y'all like grown me. Y'all talking about send me your location. Something else that has me like WTF, and it's ridiculous. The Pentagon spokeswoman said that the U.S. overestimated the value of weapons sent to the Ukraine by 6.2 billion with a B. They overestimated the value of weapons sent by 6.2 billion. The article says a detailed review of the accounting error found that the military services used replacement costs rather than the book value of equipment. How do you overestimate something by 6.2 billion with a B? But we can't do nothing about student loans, but not everyone has health care, but we can send an estimated $6.2 billion in weapons to someone. Okay. California restaurant owner ordered to pay 1,000. Let me go back because this story, WTF. This is what happened, y'all. A restaurant hired a fake priest to come in and talk to their employees for their employees to confess work-related sins. Let me say it again in case y'all missed it. A restaurant in California was wanting to know what their employees was doing, especially work-related. So they hired a fake priest that came in and had their employees confess their work-related sins. Is it that serious? You want to know what's going on that bad where you hiring a fake priest to come like that sounds all the way something about that just sounds so immoral to me. Like I don't think that they're going to be going to heaven because you're playing with religion like spirituality and that's not okay. Now they've been ordered to pay $140,000. That's what you get when you be playing around. Now you got to pay back pay and damages. That's not okay. That's not okay. Now I want to know, which I'm gonna have to go back and read. How did anyone figure out that it was a fake priest? Like how was that discovered? The priest must not have been priesting right if people was able to peep like, okay, I don't think this is a real priest right here. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out because that sounds interesting. The last thing that had me like WTF, and I need to see this on every single news. I need to see this on Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 12, MSNBC, CNN. I need to see this everywhere. I mean, everywhere. At Harvard, the morgue manager, I said allegedly, the manager of the morgue was selling people's like organs. Like he was just shopping them like it was a grocery store. That's what the article said. That's what it says. An alleged network of individuals that allegedly stole and sold off human remains from the mortuary at Harvard Medical School has led to the indictment of 7 people. So 7 people were going, this is a story. The manager of the morgue had people, he would take the corpse out of the body, he would take the body parts out of the corpse, and then he would have his customers come in and look at the different body parts, and then he would sell them. So like I said, he was running it like it was a grocery store. Why is not this breaking news? It's because it's Harvard. We have people that are selling organs. We're like selling body parts. This is okay. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed recording it. It was a major blast. Make sure that you stay safe this weekend. Take care of you. Practice some self-care. It's the summertime. Find you a cool, fun, no cost because prices is going up activity. And I will catch you here, same place, same time next week. This was HeavieTalk, straight talking, no chaser, and I'm out.